Hello and welcome back to Touchstarved. Yeah, we're still looking for a cure for our curse and we've met two of the possible love interests so far, so let's see how the story continues. I wake to pale sunlight filtering through the narrow windows. Despite the clamor of the tavern below, the precious hours of rest have restored my strength and gifted me a flicker of cautious optimism. If I play my cards right, today could be the day I get closer to finding a cure. I quickly head out of the wet wick. The air clings, sodden and heavy, with a lingering scent of rain. Without the afternoon crowd, the district looks barren and bleak. In the middle of the street, a pair of crows quibble over stale bread crusts. I pause, watching them while I consider my next move. Courage and Leander both made it clear that the cenobium can't be trusted, but I came so far and I endured too much to give up now. I need to see the cenobium for myself, if only to satisfy my curiosity. Surely someone in the bar can point me in the right direction. Yeah, it would be weird to not even get a glimpse of it now that we've heard a bunch about it. I'm about to turn back when a shadow passes over me. A cloud, I think, until a puff of hot breath tickles the back of my neck. The shadow trickles down the street in rivulets, formless dark spreads like ink into blotted shapes. Claws stretch, a muzzle splits open to reveal long jagged teeth. A growl rumbles so low and deep, I feel it in my chest. I want to run, to scream, but I feel trapped, as though the slightest movement or breath will snap the jaws around me shut. No, I won't let it end like this. If I'm going to die, I want to look what got me in the eye first. I steel myself, then turn. The shadow vanishes as quickly as it came, and I'm left standing in the middle of the street, alone save for a figure reclining in the shade of a nearby stoop. Hello. A monster, that much is clear from a glance. One that could nearly be mistaken for human, were it not for the tufted ears, the tail curled around his ankle. You're just... that's a general term for it? A monster? Okay, not the first word I would choose, but sure. Or the dusk pink eyes with pupils that sharpen like needles when they fall on me. We lock gazes, and the monster uncrosses his long legs. His hair gleams a shade of red that reminds me unsettlingly of blood where it curls around his collared throat. Jumpy, aren't you? His tone is so light and carefree that I glance over my shoulder to make sure he's speaking to me. When I look back, the stranger props his chin on his knuckles and regards me with an inscrutable grin. Did you see that shadow just now? It was massive, moved like a beast. Even as I speak, I'm aware of how ridiculous I must sound, but the stranger's smile doesn't falter. The only beasts I've seen are the wig-strolling regulars, though this did catch my eye. With a flick of his wrist, my in-room key dangles from his finger. It turns on its chain, glittering when it catches the light. My hands fly to my cloak's pockets and, sure enough, find them flat. He crooks his finger, beckoning. I've already taken 2 steps forward before some stifled instinct stops me. Something feels wrong. I'm still on the edge, thrumming with so much adrenaline, adrenaline that the strangest shadow flickers at the edges of my vision. I always seem to attract the worst kind of attention, but I can't get rattled now. Who said that's my key, or where did you find it? Did we really lose it, or did you just steal it? In that shadowy form, maybe? Sure, let's be a bit guarded. Who said that's mine? His mouth's wide enough to reveal sharp fangs. I saw you drop it. You really should be more careful. A city like this, somebody might take advantage. A bald-faced lie said without a hint of irony. I approached the monster, careful to keep an arm's length away. He doesn't look dangerous, but the most deadly ones never do. A stout observation. The stranger's chain softly clings with a tilt of his head. His ears flick. Keeping your distance? I'd be stupid to trust you. You think I stole your dinky little key from all the way over here? He gives an exaggerated sigh. I'm good with my hands, but not that good. Do I really look like a common thief to you? I don't know. He's got me there. The sheer fabric of his sleeves alone would be too expensive for most street thieves. Hell, these shoes look like they cost more than I spent traveling here. And then there's the shop behind him. No matter the city, parted pink curtains only ever mean one thing. I'm not looking to buy, and I doubt I could afford your services anyway. Luckily for you, I don't charge. The man runs the tip of his tongue over a fang, and for the first time since I stepped into that shadow, I feel something other than dread. My face grows hot. I didn't mean to assume. I'm flattered, really. Did you think you could pay to pet my ears? I just need my key back. Ask nicely, and I might even let you tug my tail. Just throw it here. So some spindly little street urchin can snatch it and run? He raises my key and tilts his head so he can watch it dangle back and forth. I suppose I could just claim your room for myself. Not that I'd be caught dead slumming in the wick with the rest of those slack-jawed imbeciles. You're obviously not from around here, so tell me, traveler, what misfortune brought you to this wretched place? His voice practically drips with derision. I'm not telling you anything. What could have possibly drawn you to this dreary little pigpen, I wonder? He listlessly watches the arc of the key swinging around his finger. The weather's shit, the food's dreck, and there's entirely too many monsters for a human to feel safe, unless... Dagger-sharp eyes flick towards me. They gleam bright with amusement. Unless you're just dying to consort with monsters. By now, my embarrassment is worn away, leaving simmering impatience in its place. If this is a shakedown, it's the most frustrating one I've ever heard of. Walk away or play along with him. I mean, we still do need our key back. Let's play along. How'd you know that I spent all my money, starved and nearly died in the swamp, just so I could crawl into bed with the first thirsty monster I met? That earns me a burst of breathy laughter. He gazes at me under his dark lashes. Aren't you funny? Could you be any more obvious? I have been told subtlety is not my strength. So, your place or mine? I'd invite you if I had my key, or I'll pass. I mean, we're playing along, right? If only I had my key, I might be able to invite you up. His languid gaze glides from me to the key in his hand and back. Take my hand and we'll go together. The more he flirts, the more convinced I become that this is some kind of trap. No matter how innocent monsters look, they always have tricks up their sleeves. And something tells me that this one's more dangerous than he lets on, even if he has a lovely laugh. What I'm wondering is if that chain is purely fashion or if it really means something. I don't know what you want or why you're messing with me, but I'm not coming any closer until I know you aren't going to attack me or bite. I won't bite hard unless you beg me. No matter what I say, he finds a way to twist my words into innuendo. Even when I'm silent, he goes on as though we're having a conversation, not a standoff. Do you like dancing? There's a traveling troupe performing in Hightown tonight. The lutist is utterly exquisite, truly a performance to die for. There's life in this dreadful place, if you know where to look. You sound like you know the city well. The monster's gaze flickers from me to the key hanging from his finger. Naturally, the stump was little more than a miserable little smear on a map when I first arrived. Hightown, Lowtown, I know Iridia like the back of my hand. What about Cenobium? Do you know where that is? His smile vanishes. Surely you've seen it, that absurdly large tower looming over the rest. It's a little hard to miss. He must mean that spire I noticed when I first caught sight of Iridia. The Cenobium's overrated, forget about it. I can show you things those stuffy boars in the Olympic Tower couldn't even dream of. What do you say? How about the two of us have a little adventure? I've already got plans. Oh, have you some pressing matters at the Cenobium? Lunch dates with librarians? Tea time with the most esteemed abbess? That's my business. What's it matter to you? I square my shoulders and the amusement bleeds out of him. Your loss. The stranger, finally bored of his own tedious game, extends his hand towards me. The key rests on his palm, neatly dividing skin and leather. When he makes no other move, I reach for the key, but as soon as my fingers graze smooth brass, his hand springs shut around my elbow. Hey! He yanks me down and I stagger, my shoes slipping on the steps. For a sick moment, I fear my bandages will unravel under his touch, but he's careful not to disturb them even as he grips my arm. I knew I smelled blood. You reek of the road and death. And that fucking doctor. His voice, once silken, lowers to a smoky growl. The shadows around him seethe and boil. And something else. He murmurs against my throat, nose grazing my jaw. His breath trails down my neck, sending a thrill of dread through me. His wide, flat eyes gleam with naked hunger as he gazes at me. Let go. Just when I fear he'll bite, his grip loosens and his eyes widen with awe. It seems I underestimated you. You're... there. The stranger's ears flatten and he releases me with a short breath. I yank my arm back, massaging my bandages. He twists around to see a woman duck out from the curtains behind him. Her pressed white uniform marks her as a cleric of the cenobium. I leave you for all of what, 10 minutes, and you're making trouble again. Will you quit harassing the tourists? The stranger, Veer, I take it, rolls his eyes and flashes the cleric a withering smile. So suspicious. Can't you see this is a friend of mine? A natural liar. He grins at me and his tail swishes coyly. The woman purses her lips at me, clearly unconvinced. I open my mouth to correct him, but Veer cuts in. I was graciously offering my dear friend some free advice. Though his voice remains light and cheerful, his expression darkens. Danger's drawn to you like a moth to flame. It will always find you, given time. The woman clucks her tongue as though she's heard this recital 102 times. Word to the wise, don't take free advice from lazy foxes lounging on the streets. This crook could sell water to a drowning man for the sheer enjoyment of it. She shrugs off a wilting look from Veer. Oh please, any friend of yours knows it's true. Now hold still. Veer rises gracefully at her approach. He pushes his hair aside so it drapes over one shoulder, exposing the long line of his neck. And suddenly it dawns on me that the jingling I heard earlier wasn't coming from his harness, but a heavy iron chain wound around a hitching post and padlocked to the back of his collar. The woman produces a crowded keyring from her pocket. She rifles through a dozen identical keys before selecting one and slotting it into the lock. Come on, unless your friend's tagging along on our merry little soulless hunt. The hunting for soulless inside the city. Words momentarily fail me. The cleric regards me with a polite if tight smile before marching down the stairs. Veer lingers. He stretches his arms over his head with a yawn and a try not to stare at the way his stomach flattens when he arches his back. Your little secret's safe with me. Try not to get yourself killed, Veer hops off the stoop and bounds after the woman. His tail sways merrily, as though he hadn't just lied and threatened me. Did you try that thing I mentioned? The Loventian knot? That the one where you take 3 fingers and... Actually, don't tell me. Knowing you, it's probably disgusting. Veer's airy laughter echoes down the street. It's only after he and the cleric have vanished from sight that I realize I'm still missing something. Wait! Reflexively, I shove my hands into my pockets and find it. The room key. Yeah, I expected as much. I raise it to the light. Sure enough, it's my key, but the realization is hardly comforting. I don't know what Veer's game was, or what he wanted from me. All I know for certain is that the cenobium saw fit to leash him, a fate I could share if that's what his vague warning meant. I let my eyes drift skyward, past the lanterns gently swaying in the breeze to the cenobium faintly visible through the haze. Huh. Yeah, if it's a cenobium cleric... Yeah, of course, he would have a bad opinion of them if they chain him, if they use him for their purposes. And I was right. It wasn't just fashion. Just one glimpse is all I need, then I can put this all behind me. This time, the key goes into my coin purse for safekeeping. Okay, we're really going there now. It's easy enough to follow the winding streets, climbing uphill toward the distant tower. Hours later, legs aching, sweat beading on my forehead, I finally find what I'm searching for. The cenobium of the luminous void. It stands at the highest point of Iridia, surrounded by cold white walls. Well-dressed people stroll down the walkways, ignoring the massive tower in their midst. I'm the only one standing before the gates. I crane my neck up until the top of the cenobium spire disappears into the clouds overhead. My stomach gives an uneasy lurch. Though far grander than the humble shrine of my youth, the cenobium is eerily reminiscent of a gilded birdcage. Knocking seems like a terrible idea, but I don't see any other way of making my presence known. I'm halfway up the steps when something moves in my peripheral vision. A shadowy figure crouches beneath one of the white walls. They reach out and tug on a vine, as if testing its strength.
Oi, you there!
The shadow vanishes as quickly as I spotted it, and a gaunt-faced man in a crisp charcoal uniform marches up the steps toward me.
Another tourist. Get out of here once you're done gawking.
A dismissive wave accompanies his equally dismissive words, and he turns without even waiting for my response. I look back at where I saw the intruder, but there's nothing, just the leaves blowing gently in a cool breeze. I step away from the gates, hopelessness washing over me. Hello. A whisper coats the back of my ear, hot and syrupy. I jerk away, but find no one beside me. Instead, halfway down the staircase, I spot a girl peering up at me. She's barefoot, draped in several layers of worn, moth-eaten clothing. Peculiar metal jewelry hangs across her face and jingles with each slight movement. Her eyes are her most striking feature. They shine a scorching, unnatural crimson. It feels like staring into the sun, and yet I'm strangely captivated by her. She tilts her head, the tinkling of metal riding the wind. Do you need help? I do or I don't. Well, I kind of do. I'm unsure to respond. The air is charged with a mysterious energy, as if each of my words is worth its weight in gold. On the off chance she can help me, I might as well be somewhat truthful. I do, but wanting it is another question. The giggle she makes is a chiming, fluttering sound. You're honest. I like that. She dips into a polite curtsy. My name is Iris. I was like you once, hopeless and alone. The ones in the tower won't help with your pain. I might be able to, though. I try not to dwell on the fact that I'm recognizably desperate. Instead, I focus on her vague offer as I descend the steps. You don't know what I'm looking for? You need what everyone needs in this world. A miracle. Iris turns, and my thoughts abruptly scatter. Pitted skin snakes down her shoulders, blooming from a gaping hole in the back of her neck. A shuddering breath escapes me. The fuck? Whatever disease she had consumed her from the inside out. How is she able to move or breathe? It's impossible. She shouldn't be alive, and yet... I only get a glimpse before she faces me once more, this time looking a bit bashful. I know it's not pretty, but that's not what matters. The sea spring can cure anything. It can cure you too. Her shining eyes flick to my bandaged hands, then up again, so quick I nearly miss it. I stand there, wordless. It's a twisted miracle, but a miracle nonetheless. She extends a hand out to me, her delicate fingers outstretched. I can take you there if you'd like. You can decide on your own when you see it. Her hand is frail, marred with tiny wounds. It's the epitome of vulnerability, the complete opposite of the cenobium's mocking, impenetrable gates. And if I say no? It's your choice. The truth is, I don't have much of a choice. Not right now, at least. I wonder if Iris knows that somehow. If there's any hope of finding a cure, I need to follow every lead, including seeing the sea spring for myself. Oh, so we only get that one option now. Take her hand. I cautiously slide my hand into hers. Her skin is ice cold through my bandages. We descend from the higher streets, abandoning their gilded decadence as we cross the river. The wet, derelict districts hold more familiarity for me. However, Iris leads me farther still, until I'm met with an all too familiar sight. My gut lurches when I face the open horizon. The sea spring is straight ahead. Iridia's outskirts are hardly recognizable in daylight, but venturing beyond city walls is a gamble I wasn't prepared to take so soon. I shake my head and pull away from Iris. I'm not leaving the city. She circles in front of me with a placating gesture. Don't be scared. I promise you, it's all right. You're as safe inside the city as outside of it, and this stretch before you is the safest of all. She casts a wistful gaze out over the wastes, as if admiring something beyond the vista. This region belongs to Ace. Some call him a gang leader, but he's much more than that. It's difficult to string my thoughts together. Only a fool would leave the city, but a primal instinct tells me that Iris isn't lying. She twirls around with another curtsy, jewelry twinkling playfully in the sunlight. Her doe eyes soften with a smile. As I said, it's your choice. Thank you for coming this far. I hope we meet again, Kay. I blink, and she's gone. Confusion grips me as I look around, searching for any trace of her. But I'm completely alone, with only the vast nothingness of the wastes for company. Did I just imagine everything? No, that whole encounter was real. Again, that primal instinct insists on it, just like it insisted on Iris's honesty. The sea spring is straight ahead. If it managed to cure Iris, I need to see what it can do for me. Okay, but did we tell her our name, or did she just know? Well, I venture forth, nerves and determination roiling together in my chest. My heart pounds with each step I take from civilization. It doesn't take me long to realize it's not the only heartbeat I hear. Like a flitting gnat in the back of my mind, I'm certain there's another pulse thrumming through the earth underfoot. I felt this presence before I first set foot in Iridia. It's like a living dread coursing beneath the city, only this time it's drawing me closer. For what seems like an eternity, I force each foot forward, one step, then another, until a realization hits me. I never told Iris my name. Something pierces the horizon ahead of me, a building nestled into a tall cliffside. It appears so starkly out of place that it might as well be a hallucination. Dripping with extravagance and adorned in honeyed mahogany, it's an ornate jewel of architecture. Dark silhouettes skirted on both sides. Trees, I think, until I'm close enough to realize that what I mistook for branches were spikes and jutting tendrils. Soulless, several of them watch me in the distance, like statues. Flashes of last night chase me, the gushes of blood and screams of death, the smell of burning flesh and sour bile. I can't go through that again. I won't. Exploding into a messy sprint, I push my legs as fast as they'll take me towards the decorated building. The next thing I know, I'm dashing up wooden stairs and crashing through towering double doors. My lungs burn from exertion. I gasp for breath, desperate to be safe, but when I orient myself with my surroundings, it's more hellscape than sanctuary. Blood flows all around me, overwhelming my vision with a lurid, unholy red. Instinctively, my hand leaps to my mouth. But the rotten stench of blood never comes. Instead, a smoky scent hangs in the air, sharp and spiced. I swallow thickly, convincing myself that it's not as gruesome as it appears. This has to be the sea spring, the place that grants miracles. Tall pillars flank me, blanketed in written notes. Seating pillows scatter the floor. A rusty kettle sits nearby. Someone must live here, despite how eerily empty it is. The blood and miracles reminds me of something else. If you've been on my channel for a while, you know. Call out or stay silent? Well, I don't think we want to roam around here, I don't know, doing something wrong. So let's call out. Hello? Is anyone here? My voice echoes across the cavern without response. I approach the paper-covered pillars. Maybe something here can tell me more. I reach for the topmost, the closest one, the bottommost. I don't know. The closest one. I reach for a note in front of me. It reads, "Dear Mother, don't cry for me. I'm sorry I didn't say goodbye, but we'll meet again in another life. I love you very much. P.S. If you ever see me, never speak to me again." It's written in perfect cursive. I've never seen such beautiful handwriting. Before I can ponder it further, a sharp chill runs down my spine. Something's watching me. I quickly set the note back, my eyes darting around the wooden deck, but it's still empty. Finally, I look towards the sea spring. That stillness hides something deeper, something wrong and familiar.
Hey.
I spin around and come face to face with a pack of soulless. They chitter and growl, tendrils and spikes flaring threateningly, all different sizes and species, but sharing one identical trait, glowing crimson eyes. I try to back away, but my heel teeters over the sea spring. I'm cornered.
Watch your step. It's deeper than it looks.
That voice again. At the sound of it, the soulless freeze, their snarls quieting. I search for the voice's source and find it above me, lounging in the rafters.
You look lost, little sparrow.
His gaze is a violent crimson, one that sears through me, leaves me feeling raw and exposed. They're the same eyes I've seen over and over. First with Iris, now with the Soulless circling me, all bound by the sea spring's blood red. In the shroud of darkness behind him, shapes like massive tentacles twist and coil around the wooden beams. I can't focus. The Soulless's growls ring in my ears. They're not advancing, but that could change at any second. Panic rises in my throat as I struggle to track them.
Hey. Eyes on me.
My stomach rolls as I tear my eyes away from the Soulless.
Don't ignore someone who's talking to you. It's not polite.
For a moment, anger knocks my fear aside. Who is this bastard? I'm distracted, or fuck you. let's not go too harsh immediately. I'm kind of distracted by the Soulless about to maul me.
Only on my command. Bastard even says so, yeah. That's good.
I scan the Soulless again. They really aren't attacking and are posturing more than anything else. You tamed them?
Power of the sea spring. They're hungry, so they might bite. You could give me a reason to stop them.
How about I didn't do anything wrong?
Trespassing.
And that's punishable by death. He gives a non-committal shrug. I called out earlier to see if anyone was here. Were we supposed to play hide and seek?
Didn't hear you.
My voice stops in my throat. The bastard's terse coolness is both infuriating and terrifying. I rack my brain for a way to defuse the situation. I need help, or tell me what you want. Oh. Both good, actually. How many slots do we actually have? Oh, a fair bit. Okay, I need help, or tell me what you want. Diffuse the situation. Well, in this instance, I guess it's more important what he actually wants me to do. So, sure. Tell me what you want. I'm not in the mood for guessing games.
Your hands.
Alarm jolts through me. I hide my hands under my cloak.
Show me.
Why?
Won't ask twice.
With a sharp exhale, I reluctantly hold out my bandaged hands. Are you getting off on this?
Unwrap them.
Heat rushes to my face and fire to my tongue. I should give him a piece of my mind, but not when his Soulless are one command away from ripping me to shreds. Yet no matter how much I will myself to move, my body stays frozen in place. I stand there for a long, agonizing minute. My hands are trembling when I finally raise them. I know the skin beneath the wrappings all too well, the hideous, unnatural flesh I've grown to despise. I grip the edge of the bandages.
Stop.
With a weary sigh, the man slides off the beam and lands with a thud that shakes the panels underfoot. He's a monster, with an imposing figure that towers over me. I couldn't tell how tall he was before, but he's big. Illuminated by lantern light, his features are stronger and sharper. Subtle clinks of metal accompany each of his footsteps. The closer he gets to me, the faster my heart hitches. What does he want? Is he going to kill me? I step backwards and find nothing to set my foot on. I'd forgotten my back was to the sea spring. I fall, right before a warm hand catches my lower back. I'm hovering above the sea spring, the scent of smoke and leather enveloping me. Blazing eyes bore into mine.
Told you to watch your step?
I'm too stunned to muster a response. Like I weigh nothing, he guides me back to solid ground. Following a subtle gesture from his fingers, the soulless around us disperse and relax. The shift in their demeanor is so abrupt it gives me whiplash. The enormous tentacles are no longer in the rafters, though now I doubt I ever saw them at all. Either way, I let out a breath of relief. Thanks. As focused on me as he was before, the monster pays no attention to me now. He kicks some seating pillows out of the walkways, checks the contents of the kettle with a scowl. The sudden disregard is almost insulting. So that's it? I'm not a threat anymore?
Never were one.
Of course. Then why'd you threaten me?
People get honest when they're afraid.
In other words, he was messing with me. I drag a hand over my face, exhausted by the fact that this is the second time a monster has provoked me today. You're Ace, aren't you?
Depends on who is asking.
One of your friends told me this was your territory. She also said you were a gang leader. But there's no one else here. I thought there'd be more people. Ace picks up the kettle, walks to the edge of the sea spring, and dumps the contents into the endless red.
They took a walk.
His pleasant smile stretches ear to ear. Then, in an instant, it drops. I get the sense that I shouldn't ask about that again.
What do you need the sea spring's power for?
Depends. Can it cure a curse?
Probably.
You mean you don't know?
Nope.
He shakes out the empty kettle and starts collecting stray cups, tidying up. My frustration builds. I narrow my eyes at him in a questioning glare. When he notices, he returns it with an amused smirk. Are you being irritating on purpose?
Listen, Sparrow. The sea spring can cure anything. Nothing's stopping you from trying it yourself.
What do I have to do?
Drink.
I have to drink from the sea spring? My eyes glide to the blood-like pool beside us. The idea of ingesting the liquid makes my guts churn. Is there a price?
Always.
Ace taps his temple with a finger.
You lose it a little bit.
And that's it? Might have already beat it to the punch. My humor earns me an amused, fanged grin.
This is a little different. When you drink from the sea spring, you forget who you are.
Oh.
Your mind combines with everyone who ever drank before. Humans, monsters, soulless. One big happy family in your head.
My blood runs cold. I've heard of these before. Group minds. My attendants used to tell me that my power granted people access to a higher plane of understanding, a group mind of my own making. Or lies. But something tells me this is real, even if one thing doesn't add up. Your eyes are red too, but you obviously haven't forgotten who you are. Before I can finish my sentence, Ace strides past me towards the entrance.
Time's up. Let's finish this later.
Wait, already? You barely told me anything.
Came on a bad day. I've got somewhere to be.
There are still so many questions burning on the tip of my tongue. but my frustration spills out before I can ask any of them. I was told to come here for help, but instead I get threatened and kicked out. You're joking, right?
What's your tone? I'm nice, but you don't want to ruin the host's mood.
My skin prickles. The feeling of being watched washes over me again. My eyes dart back over to the sea spring. A lone ripple dances on the quiet surface. I take Ace's advice and clamp my mouth shut. Ace approaches a nearby Solus, a lanky, dog-like one with 6 legs and a crown of tendrils. Several sets of red eyes adorn its sides. Its forked tail wags rapidly when Ace squats beside it. He runs his fingers through the tendrils, scratches its chin, and pats its head. A gentle smile plays across Ace's lips. The affection he holds for the Solus is painfully clear. I dip my eyes away, my stomach fluttering at the tender sight.
It's getting dark out, so this pretty girl will guide you back.
Following a short whistle from Ace's lips, it trots over to the entrance obediently, tail swaying. I watch the Solus warily. Pretty is not a word I would use to describe it, and the idea of it protecting me sounds absurd. If I decide to drink, how do I find you?
Find someone with eyes like mine. They'll point you in the right direction. But think it over. Once you drink, you can't go back.
It's a lot to process, but I give a small nod. At least I know I have another option for a cure, as disturbing as it might be. I follow the Solus at a measured distance and watch it nudge the giant doors open with ease. When I am about to cross the threshold, I sneak one last glance behind me. My heart skips when I meet Ace's eyes. I'm about to snap my head away, but he just flashes me an easy smile.
Till next time, Sparrow. I'll buy you a drink for scaring you.
I don't trust myself to do anything but respond with another curt nod. Okay, that was way different. Interesting. Outside, more Crimsonite Solus scuttle about. It's hard to believe it's the same threatening pack from before. They chase each other in circles, roll around in the bog's mud. They pay no attention to me as the dog-like one escorts me away. It's a non-eventful trip. Sometimes the Solus looks over its shoulder at me to make sure I'm still following. Dusk darkens the sky by the time we reach the city. I can't sense that massive heartbeat anymore. Maybe it was all in my head. The Solus sits, canting its head at me with familiar crimson eyes. Wave at the Solus or pat the Solus? Ooh, can we dare a pat? Oh. Can we... just in case. Trying to pat. As nervous as I am, I carefully glide my fingers through the Solus's tendrils and scratch beneath its chin, just like Ace had. It pushes into my palm in response, rumbling with a sound akin to a purr. The vibrations are soothing, almost therapeutic. When it's satisfied, the Solus spins around and scampers back in the direction we came, vanishing into the darkness. I've just arrived in Iridia, but I've already encountered so many things I thought were impossible, tamed Solus being one of them. My head spins. Maybe I should call it a day. Sounds like a good idea. That really was a lot for one day. Nightfall creeps across the streets of Iridia. The city, labyrinthine even in daytime, has now become a warren of treacherous alleyways. The streets are completely deserted. If I hadn't been here earlier, I would have thought this part of the city abandoned. My steps slow when I hear rustling in the dark. I strain my ears, but everything is still. Is the silence playing tricks on me? I'm imagining things or something is wrong. Well, not necessarily wrong, but something is there. Probably. The fine hairs on the back of my neck prickle, a frisson of discomfort running down my spine. Something is wrong. Doesn't hurt to stay vigilant. My eyes dart from one side of the street to the other, searching for movement, but the shadows are as deep and dark as pools of ink. I can't stay here. I need to reach a busier part of the city. Drawing my cloak tighter around my body, I hurry. Though I keep my eyes sharp and listen intently, there's only the sound of my own footsteps. As the moments pass and nothing happens, I begin to wonder if I really did imagine that noise. I turn the next corner and my thoughts come screaming to a halt. My head spins, the world blurring as adrenaline rushes through my veins. Only one thing is clear amidst the haze. The soulless that attacked the caravan. It's crouched over a dark, indistinct shape, a body. A garland of intestines spills from pallid flesh, blood grouts the cobblestones. Holding my breath, I take a step backward. When the wet, slurping sounds don't abate, I take another, then another. Then a shard of glass crunches under my heel. The world slows to a crawl as the soulless raises its head, blood dripping from its tendrils. Every single one of its bulging eyes fixed unblinkingly on me. It's really here. It's come back for me. Run. I'm off like a shot, running for my life through the darkened streets. Behind me, a piercing bass splits the silence, and heavy footfalls pound after me. My heart thunders in my chest. I take turns at random, trying to lose the soulless in the maze of streets, but I can't seem to shake it. I can hear its breathing now, a wet, fluttering rasp, growing closer and closer. The same claws that severed my arms wipe out. I duck, saved by pure reflex, and skid around a corner, only to freeze. A wall twice as high as me bars my way, a dead end. Behind me, the soulless looms. It's enormous, taking up nearly the entire width of the alleyway. Its long, claw-tipped limbs give it the advantage of reach. Fight back or try to escape? I don't know. I'd say escape is better. Let's try. As the soulless prowls closer, my eyes dart from side to side, looking for an escape. The soulless is blocking the obvious way out, but right behind me there's a rickety door that must lead into the adjoining building. If I can get inside, the soulless's size will hinder any attempt to pursue me. I whirl, grabbing at the handle. It turns completely, the hinges creaking as I push, and I feel a flash of hope, before a weight hits the door from the other side and slams it shut. The click of the lock turning is grimly final. In this wretched world, few people will stick their neck out to help their own flesh and blood, never mind a stranger. The soulless gives a rasping hiss. It's the only warning I get before it lunges for me with a flash of claws. I hurl myself to the side, but the slick cobblestones betray me. I fall, sprawling over the rough stone. As the soulless looms over me, I scramble away from it until my back hits the wall. There's nowhere left to go. It descends on me for the kill. But the impact never comes. I wearily crack one eye open, then the other, not sure whether I should believe what I'm seeing. A hooded figure crouches in front of me, one blood-stained hand outstretched. Moonlight silvers the edge of their stiletto knife. Their face and hands are splattered with blood, and the soulless. My eyes dart past my unexpected rescuer to the misshapen form behind them. The soulless' many eyes, once restless and vibrant, now look dull and waxy. A red pool spreads slowly from under its body. Numb with shock, I can't help but stare. After all, the people it's killed, after nearly killing me twice, I can hardly believe it's dead.
Well?
I gingerly take the offered hand. The hunter's gaze dips to my bandages. Pale lips part, on the brink of a question, then close again. With the strength belying their slight frame, they pull me upright. Something about them is strange, unlike any human or monster I've ever met. I can't quite place my finger on why, and that's a first. I can feel the tension in their grip. The fingers tremble like they want to pull away. It's a sensation I'm all too familiar with myself. Despite their obvious discomfort, they pause for a moment, pale eyes sweeping over me.
Not going to fall?
When I shake my head, they hastily let go and back off, wiping the blood from their face and hands. The hunter turns away from me, the heel of their boot hitting the soulless' gangly body. They lean over it, studying it intently. With their back to me, I realize that their hooded silhouette is familiar. I saw them outside the cenobium.
Vestigial or functional?
I'm startled out of my thoughts when they speak, but they aren't looking at me.
Can't all be processed in the brain. Its occipital lobes would have to be enormous.
In fact, I don't think they're talking to me at all. Oxy what or stay quiet? I mean, I kind of want to let them work, but also let's show interest. Oxy what? They jump like a spooked cat, whirling around to face me. I hold my hands up, trying not to startle them any further.
I didn't think you were still here. So, do you need something?
Oh, okay. What were you talking about? I saw you at the cenobium earlier. I wanted to thank you. All three of those, please. Okay, let's stay polite. I wanted to thank you. They stare at me. Though their lips part, they seem to struggle to figure out what to say. Not used to hearing that. That hint of uncertainty almost vanishes under their scowl. Almost.
You shouldn't need my help to begin with. What are you thinking, traveling alone at night? This is far from the worst thing haunting Lowtown.
I can't make heads or tails of them. First they save me, and now they scold me? Lesson learned. I could do without the lecture, though. To my surprise, they break eye contact. They frown, though their disapproval doesn't seem directed at me.
If you're not going to run off screaming, you might as well wait until I'm done.
Their attention glides back to the soulless corpse. They examine it with an inscrutable expression. I clear my throat to fill the silence. I'm Kay.
Min.
Suddenly, Min tenses. Their blade flashes as they drive it into the back of the soulless' neck. The soulless thrashes once, letting out a rattling hiss as the air leaves its lungs. Min leans on the blade, driving it deeper and deeper, until there's a sickening crunch, and the creature goes limp. My heart thuds in my chest. It must have been clinging to life by thread. Min straightens up, withdrawing their blade in a single smooth motion.
Better to put wretched things like this out of their misery.
They calmly clean the blood from their knife. I swallow, my eyes still glued to the cooling corpse. Are you some kind of scientist, or why is a soulless inside the city? Both good questions. Ask them about themselves. Are you some kind of scientist? Min stops mid-motion, lifting their head to stare at me. You knew exactly where to strike. Have you studied anatomy or medicine?
Not quite.
Why is a soulless inside the city? Min looks at me, eyes searching, before realization dawns.
You're new here. There's no walls around the city. Soulless can come and go as they please until someone is contracted to stop them. The Cenobium's patrols don't bother to protect Lowtown. Not anymore.
Let me guess, you're not a fan of the Cenobium.
I wouldn't go that far.
Either way, it looks like I owe you. Min's brow abruptly furrows, and they sheath their knife, motioning for me to follow.
It's not safe here. The vultures can smell death.
I'm not quite sure what they mean, but I don't want to stay lost in the city. I trail behind them as they stride down the street. If it's so dangerous, then why are you helping me?
I came for the bounty on that soulless, and you were in the way. Not killing you isn't the same as helping you. Don't count on being so lucky again, or you'll be dead by sunrise.
Their answer is stingingly harsh. You know what, fine, or I just need to find my lodgings. I mean, harsh, yes. But, I don't know, for a stranger, it's not too bad, actually. So, I'll go with this one. I hold my hands up, trying to forestall any more snippy comments. Alright, I get it. I'd love to get out of your way, but I'm sort of lost. I just need directions back to my lodgings. Their brow furrows slightly. They open their mouth, and for a moment I could swear they look regretful. Are they just like out of practice socializing, or what's the issue? They sigh and shake their head.
It's too dangerous at this hour. I'll take you to wherever you're staying.
I wasn't expecting to get directions given their attitude. When they realize I'm staring, they look away with a huff.
It'll be faster, that's all.
I have a room at the Wet Wig. At the name, Min's face falls.
That gaudy cesspit.
Not a fan?
It's full of junks and idiots. What do you think?
True, it doesn't seem like their kind of place. Well, that's where I'm staying. Are you taking back your offer? Min exhales sharply and shakes their head.
This way.
Min's route is completely different from my slow early morning meandering. Their steps are swift and sure, even though all the streets blur together in the dark. You know the city pretty well.
I grew up here.
I think that's the first thing they've told me voluntarily since we met. Was it always like this? Min's gaze wanders, dragging along the dingy buildings. I struggle to decipher their expression. Regret?
No. Iridia was never perfect, but it used to be a place worth living in.
I can't make heads or tails of Min's answer. Iridia is the last bastion of humanity in this wasteland. Where else is worth living?
The Wet Wig's not much farther now.
In no time at all, the shadowy alleys of Low Town give way to brightly lit avenues and crowds of lively people. It's as if half the city has poured into the Amaryllis district's colorful streets. Laughter, clinking glasses, and music assault my ears from every direction. Yet most of the noise comes from the Wet Wig. Its doors hang wide open, bright lanterns frame a tall and familiar figure.
Kay, and Min, I see.
It's hard to say which of us is more surprised. You know each other?
Min is a freelancer who has done a few errands for me. They are quite reliable. Though I can't say I remember you ever escorting travelers. Kay nearly walked into the jaws of a soulless. I thought bringing her here would be less trouble. If you're staying here, I take it Leander was able to help you. As it happens, I was also headed in that direction. Shall we? Oh, fine. He still owes me for yesterday's work.
Min drags their feet, reluctantly trailing me into the tavern. Interesting. I wasn't sure we'd see the others again. As soon as the doors open, a wave of sticky heat rolls over me. In the hour since I left, the wig has grown suffocatingly crowded. Courage stands a head taller than most. Even so, I nearly lose sight of him amidst the sea of swarming bodies.
Pardon me.
As if on cue, the crowd parts. Courage glances over his shoulder at Min and me before gliding through.
How can anyone breathe in here?
Min follows at a clipped pace. Behind the bar, Leander holds a pair of shot glasses brimming with luminous green liquid.
And now for the finishing touch.
A flash of magic paints the glasses white with frost.
You'll never guess what's in these.
He slides the glasses across the counter, and I get my third and fourth shocks of the evening in rapid succession. Oh, everyone's here. Okay, great. Ace leans against the bar, an elbow propped up on the counter. He catches the glasses and lifts one to the light before turning it upside down. The contents, magically congealed, stay firmly in place. A jelly shot or what?
You're supposed to make drinks, pretty boy. Don't tell me you're wasted already.
Veer, perched on the counter beside Ace, looks at the shot glass and shakes his head.
What have we here? A bucket full of boogers? Leander's nose treasure? You've eaten worse.
Veer's lips twitch and his ears flatten when offered a glass. Ace snickers.
Coward.
Don't tell me you're actually... In one fluid motion, Ace throws his head back and downs the shot.
Drinking that.
A dark look crosses Ace's face.
It's chewy. Chewy? Wait, let me try again.
Behind me, Min grumbles.
I told you this place was a nest of degenerates.
I see.
If it isn't Courage and Min.
At the sound of Leander's voice, Min's pale eyes grow wide. They look ready to bolt until Courage sets a hand on their shoulder.
This will not take long, I promise.
Min's eyes dart from Courage's hand to his face, then soften.
Fine, you first.
While they step forward, I linger behind, struck by a sudden revelation. All of the people I've met today know each other.
Good evening, Leander, Ace. Another drinking competition, I presume. Is it evening already? Just some friendly rivalry, Doctor. No need to be alarmed.
Courage acknowledges Leander and Ace with a slight nod, ignoring Veer entirely. Not that Veer seems to mind. He tilts his head, lips curving into an impish smile when he spots Min brooding behind Courage.
I almost didn't see you there, Min. Looking for your booster seat.
Min pushes their hood back and levels Veer with a cool look.
I thought pets weren't allowed in here.
Veer's eyes narrow. At the first sign of an impending fight, Leander vaults over the counter.
Let's try and keep the pace. It's not every day the esteemed doctor takes us up on a drink.
His arm snakes around Courage's shoulder.
You are finally taking me up on that drink, right, Courage? I am afraid not. We were merely escorting Kay back to her lodgings.
Courage gestures in my direction, and my stomach sinks. I reluctantly step into the light. Leander's face brightens as soon as he sees me.
Kay, it's been too long. Everyone, this is Kay. She's new to Iridia.
I feel 4 pairs of eyes fix on me, and suddenly the bar seems suffocatingly small. My voice nearly catches in my throat. We've already met, or hi again? I don't know what noise that is outside. I'm sorry if you can hear that. I mean, they're both kind of the same. But yeah, hi again. Hi everyone. Again.
Again? You've met?
Ace and Veer regard me with subtly amused expressions.
We did. Not that long ago either. To think we'd cross paths once again, it must be fate.
I roll my eyes. Veer looks far too pleased with himself.
This calls for drinks. I'm buying.
All eyes turn to Leander, freeing me from the burden of attention. I still can't believe they all know each other. Watching them talk among themselves is surreal. But for the first time since I undertook the journey to Iridia, I feel a faint glimmer of hope. I know I was meant to meet them. The low, pleasant rumble of Leander's laughter pulls me from my restless thoughts.
I've got to admit, I'm surprised. You make friends fast, Kay.
I wouldn't go that far. We're more like acquaintances.
A wise man once said that acquaintances are merely friends you haven't shared a drink with yet.
A wise man?
You said that. Here, last week.
Min's lips curl with distaste, but Leander continues unperturbed.
Let's toast to Kay's health. Care to join in, Doctor?
Courage politely declines with a wave of his hand.
How about you, Min?
No.
Are you... No.
A resounding pop pierces the din of the bar. We all turn to find the bartender pouring champagne from an old bottle, its label worn blank. He hands the drink to Veer.
When did they start serving champagne here?
Veer pauses to lick the foam from his fingers with a coy smile.
You don't mind, do you?
In a blink, the concern on Leander's face vanishes.
No, be my guest.
While chuckling, Leander shoots the bartender a questioning look. Completely disinterested in his company, Ace cons his head at me with a light smile.
How about you, Sparrow? I did say I'd buy you a drink. No, my treat.
Ace regards Leander over the rim of his glass. In the dim light, the glint in his eyes looks downright dangerous.
What'll it be, Kay?
Okay, for a moment I thought you'd already make me choose between 2 characters. Okay, I'll take the drink or water's fine. I mean... Huh. Difficult. I mean, after the day we had, we could kinda use a drink. Sure, why not? I'll take you up on the drink, as long as it's not one of those green shots.
Don't knock them till you've tried them. They taste better than they look.
Somehow I doubt that, but I hold my tongue. Min and Courage drift toward one end of the bar. Both seem eager to leave at a moment's notice, and neither has ordered anything. Ace and Veer linger. Several glasses stand empty between them, and the two show no signs of slowing down. Stay with Ace and Veer or follow Min and Courage? Heh. Well, there it is. Honestly, I thought we'd end here after introducing everyone, but... Okay, so... To be honest, I am more interested in Min and Courage, so I'm gonna go with them. It's less crowded further down the bar and my breathing eases. I've never liked packed spaces. Courage gives me a knowing look as I approach.
Were the week's offerings not to your liking?
Let me guess, I'll end up face down in a barrel after a sip of anything here. His mouth quirks, but he shakes his head.
Quite the opposite. The drinks are notoriously watered down. It lowers costs while encouraging the patrons to overindulge.
Min looks up from adjusting the laces of one of their bracers.
The only reason anyone bothers coming here is for the cheap rooms and cheaper drinks. Perfect conditions for terrible mistakes.
It almost sounds like you're speaking from experience. Their pale face reddens and they look away, scowling. Before I can respond, Leander returns with a tumbler and sets it in front of me. A strip of orange peel bobs in a pool of thin red alcohol. I sniff the drink. To my relief, all I smell is the sweet scent of pomegranates with an undercurrent of fermented fruit. Okay.
Relax, it's just the local specialty, pomegranate wine. Although, if you're feeling more adventurous...
I shake my head. Leander rubs his knuckles against the bar until the group falls silent.
Alright everyone, let's toast. May Kay's stay in Iridia be full of bright adventures and discoveries. Cheers!
Leander, Ace and Veer raise their glasses in unison. Min only crosses their arms and Courage watches with polite indifference. I tip my drink back. The wine is eye-wateringly strong. Despite a sharp, bitter edge, it goes down smoothly. One sip softens the edges of my vision. The next fades the din of the crowded bar into a low, persistent murmur. I find myself unwinding for what feels like the first time in years.
Aren't you the popular one, Kay? You must have met Courage first. It would be more accurate to say that I found her.
He saved my life.
I merely performed my duty as a doctor.
Although, I'll admit I was confused when I woke up naked. Leander makes a choked noise. Somewhere behind him, Min sighs. It's not what you think.
Kay was in grave condition. I could hardly treat such injuries through tattered clothes.
The silence that follows stretches uncomfortably long. I look away, unable to face Courage's disappointment, and catch Veer snickering behind his hand. They're all overreacting. Of course a doctor would need to go behind the clothes. That's my cue to change the topic. Courage isn't the only one who saved me today.
Don't you listen? I didn't save you. You were simply there. That's Min for you.
Leander reaches for Min, but they duck under his arm with practiced ease.
As reliable as they are moody.
You want to talk, considering you neglected to warn her to stay off the streets at night?
What? Of course I warned her. I think.
Min's only response is a short breath. At any rate, I never got a chance to thank you, Min. Well, I did, but okay, whatever.
Don't. The less Solus alive, the better.
Min's eyes flick towards Ace, and the lips twist. Ace is too busy nodding along to Veer's enthusiastic pantomime of stabbing to notice.
I've had enough of this hellhole. Let's go.
Min and Courage share a brief look. Then the doctor speaks up.
Very well, but there's something that I must discuss with Leander, if you'll excuse us, Kay.
And just like that, the three of them depart, leaving me alone to savor my drink in silence. Or so I think, until I hear a voice so soft and low it's practically a purr.
Lost your tour guide?
I turn to find 2 pairs of slit eyes trained on me. It's not lost on me that Ace and Veer chose to pounce the instant the others left. Of course, I'd be stuck with the 2 most irritating people I've met all day. Monsters or not, there's no telling what I'll do if either of them push me again.
Don't tell me Leander already snuck out back to get his knob slobbered.
He's got business with Courage and Min.
2-on-1 business, huh? Lucky.
I can't tell if it's the champagne or the company, but Veer has grown noticeably more relaxed. He sits with his chin propped on the back of his hand. His tail sways lazily.
Why are you so far away? Come, join us.
He pats the empty bar stool beside Ace, but I hesitate. The smile Veer wears is sweet and distinctly sly, and with drinks in the mix, I dread how he and Ace will mess with me next.
We don't bite.
I'm not so sure about that. He already tried to rob me and you threatened me.
Me? Steal? You must be mistaken. You sure it was me?
Yes, it was you, and then you had the gall to kick me out so you could go drinking. Ace gives another one of his shrugs.
Had to give you a reason to come looking. Miss me already?
I stare at him flatly, unimpressed by his deflection. Veer suddenly leans toward me, gossamer sleeves pooling where he rests his elbows on his knees. Ace sets his hand on Veer's waist, narrowly preventing him from tipping off the counter.
I'm afraid we got off on the wrong foot. How about we start fresh, Begin with proper introductions and whatnot. I'll start. My name's Veer. I'm a soulless hunter of no small renown.
Veer's hand flutters to his chest, and he bows his head, flinching when hair falls over his eyes. Ace doesn't say anything, so I suppose it's my turn now. You already know my name, or it's Kay? Sure, he tries. It's Kay. Veer considers me for a long moment, his tail idly swaying behind him. Then he knocks back the rest of his champagne.
It's a pleasure to formally meet you, Kay.
He says my name slowly and deliberately, savoring every syllable. A tingle jumps down my spine. I quickly turn my gaze away. Ace smirks at my reaction. Is something funny?
Nope.
I open my mouth and close it just as quickly. They want me to react, goading me into another ridiculous game. While their sharp cat-like eyes keep me on edge, something about this tension is fun. It must be the wine. Sure, tell yourself that. A flash of white over Ace's shoulder catches my eye. A across the bar, Courage heads for the door. I don't see Leander or Min, but it feels wrong to let the doctor leave without saying goodbye. I'll be back. Veer grins and waves at me as I leave. I slip through the crowd, careful not to touch anyone, but just as I'm nearing Courage... I stagger, shoulder checked by a man with a neck twice as wide as his head. He stares down at me, nostrils flaring.
Out of my way, shit stain.
My words spill out on their own. Watch it! I regret them as soon as they leave my mouth. That fucking wine. The lowlife wheels around, shoving an adder out of the way so he can close in on me.
What did you say?
He shoves me backward, sending me stumbling to the sticky floor. I'm fine, but my heart leaps into my throat when I see him bearing down on me.
You're trying to start something here?
The lowlife freezes, his fist cocked back. A group of adders circle him, sizing him up. For what feels like an agonizingly long time, the lowlife looks from me to the adders. Finally, he sniffs and spits on the floor next to me. The wart narrowly misses my cheek.
Screw it, too many freaks in this circus tonight.
He turns his back on me and comes face to face with Ace. He gives the lowlife a dangerous smile.
You'll do.
What happens next is a blur. Ace's fist crashes into the man's jaw, causing a frenzy of gasps, shouts, and even cheers. I scramble to my feet as the frantic crowd swarms around me. Through the ruckus, I hear Leander shouting.
Take it outside, Ace. Everyone, drinks are on me.
With that, the wig erupts in hoots and cheers. The ring around me disperses as adders and onlookers rush toward the bar. Through the thinning crowd, I catch glimpses of familiar faces. Ace vanishes out the back, dragging the lowlife behind him. Thank you. Courage lingers near the door, searching, I suspect, for any wounded before he departs. Min draws their hood up tight as they duck out the side door, while Veer leans over the counter to swipe a glass of wine from behind the bar. And Leander, seated at the opposite end of the bar, gestures dramatically and apologetically at the bartender. In a heartbeat, I realize that there's no telling when or if I'll see any of them ever again. Whoever I pursue may be the last person I get to speak to tonight. I follow. Ha! So we do get to choose, okay. Okay. I'm gonna go with Courage. We're getting more? Okay. Hot on Courage's heels, I squeeze out of the bar. Of everyone I've met, he seems the most likely to help me, and the least likely to murder me on a whim. This morning, he said I could go to the clinic whenever I needed help. Time to see if he's a man of his word. I breathe a sigh of relief once I'm free of the crowded bar. Hearing me, Courage turns my way.
Okay, I take it the Amaryllis district is not to your liking.
If nothing else, it's wildly different from the secluded temple where I spent most of my days. It's a bit overwhelming, but that's not why I stepped out.
You do not require treatment after that fall, do you?
I scowl up at him, and he holds out his hands in a mollifying gesture.
I apologize, Kay. Please, continue. There you are.
Someone cuts across me toward Courage, stopping us both in the middle of the street. Even in the dim pink haze that blankets everything, There's no mistaking her pressed white uniform. She's from the cenobium, though the flourishes on her clothing look a bit different from the others I've seen. I swiftly step back, making myself as inconspicuous as possible. Nervous onlooker sidestep Courage and the cleric. They form an island of white in a sea of people teeming with color. Is this a bad time?
Persistence is not always a virtue.
That's what you said last time.
Then take this and be gone.
Courage reaches into his coat and produces 3 tiny glass vials, bound together with a thick leather cord. A silvery powder shimmers inside. He gently flicks the vials, watching the contents swirl, and extends them to the cleric. This is it? She looks extremely unimpressed.
Looks can be deceiving.
He throws me a glance and a swift smile, but I'm too surprised to respond. Courage was the first to warn me about the cenobium. No one had anything good to say about it. And yet here he is, openly dealing with the cenobium cleric in the Amaryllis district? I glance at Courage and then the cleric, who seems to notice me for the first time. A new patient of yours? Her eyes linger on me for a long tense moment, but when Courage steps between us, she sighs and disappears into the seething crowd.
Kay, is something amiss?
What was that about, or isn't that dangerous? Huh? I mean, isn't that dangerous? Isn't that dangerous?
A conversation is hardly dangerous.
You know what I mean. You were the one who warned me about the cenobium.
Be calm.
He holds one finger to his lips, which suddenly curl into a cat-like smile.
For now, please join me on a short stroll.
Courage's golden eyes twinkle in the low light. He beckons me away from the main thoroughfare and down a side street filled with vendors hawking late-night snacks. What? Wait! Powerfully curious despite myself, I hurry after Courage. Each of his long, graceful strides easily doubles mine. I catch a glimpse of his gleaming white coat as it disappears around the corner of the street. The moment I catch up, the enticing scents of freshly baked goods flood my nose. My stomach rumbles loudly.
1 honey pistachio cookie, please.
Coming right up. Without breaking his swift pace, Courage plucks the sticky confection out of the merchant's hand and offers it to me. The heavenly smell makes my stomach rumble again. I take a bite without hesitation. That's delicious. Courage watches me with an indulgent smile, and I notice he hasn't gotten anything for himself. You're not hungry?
Do not concern yourself with me.
He stops mid-sentence, his eyes darting back the way we came. The hairs stick up on the back of my neck. I turn just enough to peek over my shoulder, hoping I don't look too suspicious. Sure enough, it's the same cleric who waylaid us in the street, now looking very irritated. Uh-oh.
Well, disappointment can be a learning experience.
Glimmers of realization dawn over me as I stare up at him. What exactly was in those vials?
Perhaps a potent alchemical catalyst? Or some stale fish skin. The two do resemble one another, and it can be quite difficult to tell them apart.
Is he serious? I chance another glance at the cleric, who's now trying to elbow her way between the food stalls. A few people move aside, but most don't even notice her efforts. The street is too packed with hungry patrons.
Shall we?
Without waiting for my response, Courage glides swiftly into the crowd once more. You're messing with her? Or is there a point to all of this? Oh, that's funny. I wouldn't have expected him to play a prank on them, basically. But, I mean, I suspect the Cenobium is trying to get us out, like recruit him or something, and if that gets too much, then yeah, if you want to teach him a lesson, it's kind of understandable. Is there a point to all this? Is there a point to all this running around?
Other than for my personal amusement, I suppose I would like to show you the sights.
He is serious, or seriously fucking with me. My disquiet must be showing because Courage's smile softens.
You have nothing to fear from her.
He ducks into what looks like an abandoned doorway that opens into a small covered market. The stalls here are packed with more spices than I knew existed. Taking a short breath makes me sneeze. Courage slows his pace, occasionally pausing to examine the insistent hawker's wares. Wait. He looks up from a display of livid red leaves, each as long as my forearm. You said I have nothing to fear, but everyone in Iridia seems wary of the Cenobium.
People fear the obvious trapping of power, wealth, force, or an ostentatious tower. For my part, I find such trappings disappointing. The Cenobium once had great potential. They squandered it decades ago in the pursuit of trinkets, pleasure, and petty tyranny. Their narrow, prosaic interests have rendered them blind to all else that moves.
I think that's the most I've ever heard Courage say on any topic. You sound like you know them well. Courage lets out a long, low sigh.
You miss little, Kay. Familiarity breeds contempt, and I am more familiar with the Cenobium's crude methods than I would like to be.
Now I'm getting somewhere. Something beyond vague warnings or swift deflections. I decide to press the point while I have the chance. I just remembered that during our first encounter it was actually us who didn't want to talk a lot and didn't want to trust, so being like, oh yeah, now he's finally saying a lot is kind of, I'm missing the word, but you know what I mean. Familiar how? Courage stops in front of a pickled fruits display, and I nearly run into his back. He steps aside at the last moment and rests his arm gently but firmly on my waist. I tense, but he's careful to avoid my bandaged hands.
Our pursuer refuses to take no for an answer.
Again, I thought we'd lost her in the crowd. I crane my neck to look for the cleric, but Courage shakes his head.
This way.
The next street over is home to high-end brothels with steep stairways and shadowy passages, perfect for discreet trysts or losing a persistent tale. Pink curtains and painted facades sprawl around me like a giant, colorful warren. It only takes a few more twists and turns down blind alleys and narrow walkways before I'm completely turned around. Courage, however, seems to be following some map in his mind. He takes each turn with swift confidence, guiding me with the occasional nudge. The passages between teetering buildings are so narrow that we have to slink through single file.
Just a little further.
His effortless grace is almost infuriating. It takes every ounce of concentration I have to avoid tripping over loose tiles, discarded clothes, and unidentifiable rubbish. Meanwhile, Courage's long legs seem to float over every obstacle. His clothes are still pristine despite the soot-stained walls around us. How the hell does he do it? I'm still trying to puzzle it out when I realize how warm the alleys have become. How warm the alley has become. The tiny gap between Courage and me radiates heat, like a brilliant midday sun at the peak of summer. With a start, I realize it's more than physical warmth. The sensation calms my nerves and quiets my mind, the closest thing I've ever felt to a comforting embrace. Fall back, stay close to Courage, or reach for his hand. On the... what is it? The red choices are special, they said? Is it something based on our background, or just in general special? That I'm not sure about. But I mean, that's the thing we always don't want to do, touch anyone with our hands. Like they're bandaged, sure, but I don't know if I want to go for the red one. Stay close or reach for his hand. It says it is a special choice, so why not? Let's go for it. Instinct and longing overthrow reason. I watch, as if in slow motion, when my bandaged fingers reach for his. This is why I risked life and limb, isn't it? Chasing a cure, a fool's hope of safety and warmth. Courage turns just before I brush the hem of his sleeve, and common sense viciously reasserts itself.
Kay?
I want to leap back and bury my hands on my cloak, but those golden eyes pierce through me, staking me to the ground. I'm so sorry,
Shh, you've done nothing wrong.
His long fingers clasp my outstretched palm. My imagination conjures wild images of his touch sparking a flame, rendering cotton and cursed flesh to ash. Instead, taking infinite care not to disturb my bandages, he lowers my hand.
Follow me. We have nearly lost our pursuer.
We emerge on the opposite side of the Amaryllis district. Warm light dances across the river from all directions. I approach the edge of the water, transfixed. It's incredible.
Iridia holds beauty and horror in equal measure. Did you enjoy your impromptu tour?
Relief escapes me in a tired laugh. After narrowly escaping death, playing keep away from a Cenobium cleric almost seems normal. It was a nice change of pace. He laughs too, a soft and pleasant chuckle completely at odds with his usual cool demeanor. Are you sure we've lost her?
She will not deign to follow us this far.
He sounds confident enough. I was starting to wonder if we'd have to make a full circuit of the city to ditch her. A flicker of lamplight falls across the shore, softening his features.
I should escort you back to your lodgings. It would be unwise to let you go alone.
What about you? Are you staying at the Wet Wig?
Of course not.
Then you're going back to your clinic alone? You just said that was a bad idea. He pauses, stares at me, then his expression relaxes into a gentle smile.
Fear not, Kay. Only the most desperate or foolish would dare lay a hand on me.
It sounds insane after 2 near-death soulless encounters, but part of me believes him. A few townsfolk huddle beneath street lamps and in doorways, desperate to be as close to safety as possible. Courage, on the other hand, looks more relaxed than ever. He strolls along the river bank as if it were broad daylight. Even walking beside him makes me feel more secure, warmer inside and out. I seize that faint spark of hope and muster my courage. Did you mean it this morning, when you said I could come back to you for help?
Every word.
His mirth vanishes, replaced by calm focus. I don't know what to say to that. I half expected his offer to be a curtsy, an easy way to get me out of the door. The fact that he meant it.
Why do you ask?
His eyes flick briefly to my arm, the one that he miraculously reattached when he found me. I can almost imagine him counting the neat stitches. I wanted to be sure. I'm still figuring out who's trustworthy and who's trouble.
I see. Iridia does tend to attract extreme individuals.
Including you?
Okay, I refuse to incriminate myself in your eyes.
I can recognize a smooth deflection when I hear one. If he won't talk more about himself, maybe he'll tell me about someone else. I decide to ask about everyone, please. I guess we know the least about Min. I mean, for all of them, we basically just know their front, what they choose to present themselves as. So, but I'll ask about Min. Sounds like you and Min know each other well. Courage heaves a long-suffering sigh.
I know them better than most, but not as well as I would like. Like you, Min is a recent arrival. Their time here has been particularly difficult, as much as I would like to help.
But they said they grew up here? He trails off, but I know exactly what he's talking about. Min doesn't seem like the sort to accept help. Do they always pick fights with adversaries twice their size?
I have implored them not to. They rarely listen.
Oh, okay, we can ask about the others as well. That's great. Then I guess we'll go in order. Why did you send me to Leander for help?
Few know Iridia better than Leander. The company he keeps can be questionable, but I had confidence in him.
Yeah, his adders were rough around the edges.
Leander has always preferred the company of those like him. Survivors of Lowtown's harsh realities. You must have noticed how they flock to him.
I nod. Leander seemed to know every single person in the Wetwick. And that's a good thing?
Leander's closest peers trust him with their lives. I would say that counts for something.
That's true. Honestly, you did make a decent impression. How do you know Veer? Courage visibly stiffens, and I remember the venom in Veer's voice when he grabbed me. That fucking doctor. It looks like the feeling is mutual.
Regrettably, Veer is one of my worst patients. How did you cross his path?
He stole my room key.
You are fortunate that he did nothing else. He is far deadlier than he seems. There is a reason for the collar and chain.
Veer seemed suspicious to me. I hesitate, waiting for Courage to elaborate, but he seems to find even the thought of Veer distasteful. Have you ever been out to see Ace at the Sea Spring?
Once.
Only once. Seems like a spring with miraculous powers would interest the doctor. A long silence follows, so long that I'm not sure Courage heard me. I'm about to repeat myself when he finally speaks in a near whisper.
Ace is the rare newcomer who has immediately proven himself worthy of respect. The Sea Spring is another matter. Hidden depths often contain unwelcome secrets.
You could say that about anything around here.
A fair point. Nonetheless, I have seen many purported wonders, and the Sea Spring is unlike any other. Only time will tell what that means.
With my curiosity sated for now, I fall silent. I wish Courage had given me a little more to go on, but he's almost as tight-lipped about others as he is about himself. I mean, they did already make it clear that secrets are a currency here, so... And also it's more fun to find out for ourselves, isn't it? When we've circled back to the Wet Wick, the Amaryllis district seems even more raucous than before. Raucous? Drunken patrons overflow into the wine-scented streets. How am I supposed to sleep with all this racket?
I suggest the stiffest drink at the bar, alternatively a ball of wax.
Very funny. Even with how tired I am, I'm not sure I'll get a wink of sleep. I'm about to say goodnight when someone staggers out of the wick and glides into me. Again? You're really a magnet for trouble. I stumble back, heels teetering on the edge of the filthy gutter.
"'Kay?"
The next thing I know, a pair of warm arms catch me around the waist. I find myself staring up at Courage, pressed against his chest. His grasp loosens, but he doesn't quite let me go. Something shifts in his gaze. His eyes fix on my face, and I feel myself growing hot all over at his intense scrutiny. What does he see in me? What's he looking for? Courage?
My apologies.
Even after moving away, Courage's warmth permeates my clothes. I quickly tuck my cloak straight, trying to recollect my scattered thoughts. Good night. Thanks for everything today.
You are most welcome.
He turns and slips into the crowd, though I can pick out his pristine white coat with ease. A chilly gust howls down the street. When did it get so cold? Choose your fate. Wait, what is this? Wait, so we can now choose one freely to log in completely? I mean, oh, okay, we're getting even some small descriptions. Let's go through everything then, everyone. Veer, the chained charlatan. Veer serves as a warning of the dangers posed by the cenobium. As cunning as he is curious, Veer finds you fascinating and insists that he can help. But trusting him means entrusting your life to a collared beast with a lethal reputation. Can Veer protect you? Or are his honeyed words a trap waiting to snap shut? Leander, the heroic mage. Leander offers you something that should be impossible, a taste of normalcy free of your curse. As the first person to withstand your touch, he could change your life, but some things are simply too good to be true. Leander promises to help unravel your curse, but at what cost? There's always a cost, always a price. Ace, the demon renegade. An intimidating yet laid-back outsider, Ace presides over a sea spring with unnerving powers. He offers you a miracle, but the price means submitting yourself to the horrifying presence at the heart of the spring. Will you gaze into the abyss for answers, even at the risk of losing yourself? Courage, the repentant angel. From all appearances, Courage is a principled doctor of extraordinary skills, but you know little about the man beneath the professional mask, and Courage keeps even his friends at a cool distance. If you uncover his deepest secrets, will you like what you find? And Min, the cursed outsider. Despite their cold nature and familiarity with violence, Min is just as desperate as you to get into the cenobium. You may be able to help each other, but they're keeping as many secrets as you. They claim they're dangerous, but could they be your only chance at getting into the cenobium? All very tempting. yeah, I mean, again, I've already kind of locked in from the start. I've been quite curious about Courage. He seems nice, for lack of better words, just caring, and every one of these will have their secret. So secrets. But yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you for playing. For more Touchstarved, you can visit their homepage or follow them on Twitter and Instagram, and they are also on Blue Sky, I saw, and YouTube. But yeah, that's what I thought, that the demo would end here, because that was the prologue, basically. But already a lot of options, and yeah, it seems that with that last choice in the bar, you can get a different, like already a different scene depending on who you picked, because I picked to go after Courage, but you can get a different end with all of them for just the prologue, which is nice. Yeah, I'm not going to do that now. Like, if you want to play the demo for yourself and try out some different choices, you can do that. The demo is available on Steam and itch. I'll have the link in the description. And you can also wishlist the game on Steam to get notified about the full release. I think that is planned for the end of this year. And yeah, so there will be more than 15 ends in total, depending on your love interest and overall your choices, if it's a good end or a bad end. And I think, I'm not quite sure, so the background you pick also plays a role, if you remember, the one of the 3 backgrounds. I'm not sure if this also influences what ending you can get, but it will definitely have an impact on some of the choices and dialogue, as far as I know. So that's quite interesting, and really would, yeah, you would need a lot of playthroughs to get all of the story, so that's fun. Yeah, so I already told you who I would try to romance first, but I would be very curious to know who you would choose for your first run through. And yeah, so that's it from my side for the demo. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'd appreciate if you'd let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until next time, bye bye.